Some of my favorite tricks to do would be on jumps. I like backflips, 720s, 540s and like switch 540s and stuff like that. The fear when you go for a trick, it's kind of always going to be there. But once you get doing a trick more and more, like you get the muscle memory from it. But when you're learning new tricks, that's when it's really scary. How I got started into snowboarding, I had a friend and we'd kind of like skateboard together. We decided to take snowboarding lessons together. And then my dad was like, hey, do you want to be on G Team? G Team is where you have a group of about 7 kids and you all have a coach, and it kind of makes snowboarding more of a sport. So about 4 years ago is when the housing market crashed, and my dad, being a contractor, kind of hit his market the hardest. So it's kind of hard because we've had to cut some things like G Team, which was really expensive, and I just haven't really been able to progress as much because I haven't been on G Team. You just kind of like teach yourself how to progress without it, and then just like find new ways to improvise and things like that. So about 3 years ago, I thought, well, I have to get a job or something because we have a pretty big yard. We have a commercial grade lawnmower and a lot of things like that. So I was like, I can start up a business and do exactly what the commercial businesses do. So because of that, I was able to save up enough money for a car to pay for half a G Team 1 year.
What we learned when James was really young in elementary school, he was struggling. I couldn't figure out what it was, but here he was in 3rd grade, and he really wasn't even at a 1st grade level, and we were really concerned. And we learned that James had dyslexia.
It's kind of hard to comprehend what I'm reading, and I kind of mix the words up and things like that. And it can be hard, definitely on tests and things, when I read a problem and I'm like, I didn't even know that that's what it was saying. And it just goes through my head as something totally different, and that can be kind of frustrating. Okay, so we need 5 milliliters of that.
As a teacher of 13 years, I've worked with many students who have disabilities in one fashion or another, and oftentimes they give up, and I don't see that same thing in James. In fact, he pushes forward. It's almost an invitation for him to challenge himself more.
2 years ago, James got violently ill, and we learned he had celiac disease. It was difficult because eating is such an emotional thing, and to think that you can't eat anything but a fruit or a vegetable and maybe some rice.
His faith in the Lord and stuff has helped him through a bunch of problems. Working through that with Christ and stuff makes it a lot easier.
I've been mentoring James, and it's amazing to see students like James step outside of that and persevere, be a positive person and be a light.
If I had to give any advice to someone who's going through some sort of like struggle or some obstacle, I would say just surround yourself with people who are going to encourage you and just be good influences. And also just like don't dwell on the fact like, oh no, I have a struggle. Don't be like that. You have to be like, okay, I have a struggle now. What can I do to get around it? Because if you just stand there and you're feeling bad for yourself, it's not going to get you anywhere. So you just really have to stick in there and know that if you get through this and persevere, in the end you're going to be a stronger person, you're going to build character, and you're just going to overall be more successful in life.
Subscribe to our channel, The Real Winning Edge, now on YouTube. You can see more inspirational videos like this.